Rejection. Ouch. Even the word feels like a knife to the heart. Brings back a bunch of memories. Reminds me of elementary school when I was dared to tell the popular boy I had a crush on him and that didn't go well. It reminds me of losing the student council elections in 5th grade, or getting back a test and comparing all the scores to my friends and seeing that mine had more red ink on it than I thought it ought to. And then I remember rejections that should have mattered more to me, although it felt just the same, that knife to the heart. Specifically, my freshman year of high school, I remember desperately scrolling the All-State Honor Band's rosters, results lists, looking for my name. But alas, my name was not on the list, and so as I rolled to the floor, sobbing as if my life were over, I knew that the only thing that could fix it was a pint of ice cream, a week of sob stories, and then hopefully a couple rationalizations, I would be good to go again. My name is Karina Geist. If you are new to my channel, I'm a flute player and I go to Mannes School of Music, which is a conservatory in New York City. I'm a musician, so I get rejected a lot, but everyone gets rejected. It's not specific to musicians. And I've found a few things along the way that have helped me to soften the blow of rejection, or at least help the pain end quicker. So I wanted to share that with you today. One thing that helps a lot in the face of rejection is having some tools in your tool belt. So first, it's good to foster a growth mindset. It sucks when you get rejected, it feels like a slap in the face, but once the emotion dies down, there's usually something you can analyze and learn from the situation. So imagine you were in a relationship and no matter what you did, your partner always said you were perfect and never told you anything that you could improve on. Everyone has annoying habits, and when you live with someone, they will call you out on them eventually. And that's actually good because then you can fix your annoying habits and you can be more tolerable to everyone and become a better person, hopefully. Likewise, let's say you're a chef and your soup is just always too salty, but people are tiptoeing around you and they never want to tell you the truth. Well, your soup is gonna suck, it's gonna be too salty, and your feelings were saved, but your soup sucks. LOL, that's not very fun. It's the same thing in whatever you're pursuing, whether it's music or relationships or school, really anything. It's good to know where you have weaknesses or where your competition is stronger, because you can target the specific thing you need to improve and you can tailor all your efforts towards that. And if you have the opportunity to ask the judges or the romantic interest or your teacher, etc., what exactly made you fall short, you should absolutely do that, because that's information that you can use next time. The next thing you can learn to do is to laugh at yourself. This is really great. It's sort of like self-deprecating humor where you take the power back, because no single result is going to be life or death, making your identity, breaking your identity, none of that. So a good example of this for me, I saw a movie a while back. It was the new Mean Girls, that's a musical and a movie. And for some reason, it really bothered me that all the people in Mean Girls had a social life and were going to parties. And this is because I was on winter break and I tend to be more introverted, and I was like, why don't I go to parties? I'm so lame. And I was so genuinely upset about this in the moment. And now when I look back on that, I think that's actually hilarious that I got so upset about Mean Girls because I wasn't going to stupid high school parties and getting drunk. It doesn't actually matter to me. It's just a moment of emotion that waves over you and tells you that everything matters. Now, of course, this video is about rejection, so maybe you're getting rejected from something that matters a lot to you. But either way, if you're the kind of person who can remove yourself from it, make a joke about it, acknowledge that it happened in the past, but see that you're the big enough person that you can make fun of it and move on, other people don't have the power to hold over your head of like, oh, I'm gonna reject you and you're gonna crumble. It's like, no, you're gonna reject me and then I'll still be me and I'll have a funny little story to tell about it in a few months, and that's proof that I've lived, because I have an interesting story to tell and I have a sense of humor and my life's gonna keep humming along, and then in 100 years, most people won't remember me. So you have your growth mindset and you're able to laugh at yourself. Now you can take the concept of rejection and you can reframe it to a positive framework that works better for you and your goals. So if you are the kind of person who has gotten rejected at something that you're pursuing, but you keep pursuing it anyway and you don't quit, there's a good chance that you're doing it for the right reasons. So I'm gonna call myself out a bit here. When I started playing flute in 5th grade band, I just liked being better at my peers at music than they were. I liked that I was learning faster. It wasn't really about the flute or music at all. It was just about being good and winning something. A lot of external validation. So I was skeptical of myself as I saw myself winning things throughout middle school and high school. And I was thinking, do I actually like the flute, or do I just like this identity that I've put onto myself as the flute girl who is really smart and good at scales and can do well in auditions? And so yeah, that's definitely a part of it. Lucky for me, I put myself in the big leagues, or I'm trying to, that is going to college, and I had the privilege of being rejected by a ton of stuff, but I saw that it didn't kill my motivation to keep trying to improve and to continue doing music, even though the external validation was gone. You can hear the New York outside, my apologies. But this is actually good because I know that I love music enough that if you stripped away all the accolades, my love for music would still be there. And the same can be true if you get rejected in anything, but your love of the thing, regardless of the rest of the world, is enough to keep you going, and that feels pretty good to know that. So if you love the thing enough to keep going even when you get rejected, this is great news, because this means you have the attitude to keep going and be more consistent than your competition. I learned a funny stat. 90% of podcasters quit after making the 20th episode, so they never make the 21st episode. Why? I guess they just lose steam, they stop uploading, who knows, they got bored, I have no idea. But if you can be the person who makes the 21st episode, or goes for the 21st audition, or asks out the 21st girl, well, that sets you apart from a lot of other people. Some other interesting stats I found. So apparently, 69% of men are rejected before a first date. 29% of men say they have never approached a woman in person. 27% say it's been more than 1 year. And for men in the 18 to 25-year-old age group, 45% have never approached a woman in person. So a couple of things strike me about this. First of all, hey, 31% of men were not rejected when they asked. That could be you. But the 69% who did get rejected, they didn't die. They didn't just drown into a puddle of water and crawl back to where they came from. I mean, maybe they did. Then my point is, they survived. If they look at it the right way, maybe they have more confidence because they know what went wrong. They know the worst thing that can happen is that you're just kind of embarrassed and, I don't know, try again next time. And then 29% of men never even approach a woman in person. Let's bring this back to my field of expertise. So I've heard teachers say you don't have to be the best musician in the world. You don't have to be the best flutist to get the orchestra job. You just have to be the best flutist who bothered to show up to the audition. If you show up, you might not get it, but you learn that rejection won't kill you. You can learn where you're weak and what you need to work on, and you might actually succeed. I mean, there's a non-zero chance that you could succeed. Another thing about rejection is that, lucky for you, you're not on reality TV. I mean, maybe someone is, but most of us were not on reality TV. There's no one sitting there counting our attempts and putting a tally under failed or succeeded. So you could try 1,000 times at something, and honestly, no one cares as much about it as you do. My last reframe on rejection might be a little bit of a harder sell, but I want you to think about the last big accomplishment that happened to you. And I want you to think about how that made you feel in the moment when you found out, when you got the news, congratulations, you opened the letter, you opened the email. Think about how that felt. And then think about how long you were sustained on that happiness before you needed something else to strive for. A new goal, or you were bored. What happened to my purpose? I was looking forward to this for so long, this audition, this anticipation, and yay, I got it. That's awesome. It's over and I need something else to do. This is just how life is. This is how the human brain is. We really like anticipating things and seeing progress in the direction of our goals. It's not so much about when you get there. So if you didn't win this year, you get to try again. I'm reminded of professional bodybuilders. They'll try for years and years to get their pro card, and you train for months dieting to a competition. You train for years trying to add muscle to your frame, and then you come in second and you don't get to be a professional because the judges said your legs need to be bigger. So you're upset about that, but then you can make a whole program dedicated to improving your weaknesses, and you have your purpose, you have your reason for waking up every day. I'm gonna go train to address this specific thing and try again next year. That's enough to keep a person going. And that's true for music, that's true for sports, that's true for relationships. So in a way, maybe it's good that you didn't get your goal yet so that you can enjoy improving for longer. You can have something to chase. You can be better than you are. There's more to you than where you are right now. That's so good. That means, oh, holy crap, you can be so much better. This isn't it. There's a next level of you, which is more upgraded, and you get to keep trying to be that. And that's kind of an awesome life-sustaining goal to have. If it helps you to reframe it this way, you're more mature than most of us, but it can be really helpful to think of it this way. Sometimes rejection is a brick wall or the last straw, and you're just done. And only you know when that is. I'm definitely guilty of threatening to end it all when I get the bad news and I'm emotional, but then you ask me the next day and I'm like, no, I'm good. I've put my head back on and this is right. So once you're removed a bit from your emotion, if you just know that you gave it your best shot and you're really done, that's totally okay. And this frees you to try a million other things that you could try that are maybe better suited to your interests and your temperament and your natural abilities. You might feel like you're not banging your head up against a wall anymore because you are naturally interested in something else. There's a bit of novelty. You're free from your past. And this is super meta, but what actually matters in life? Is it, oh my God, I'm such a good HR representative at my employment, and I'm so good at the kazoo, and I'm the best underwater basket weaver at this competition. Wow, I'm so cool. And I'm being silly, but the things that we do are not ever going to be as important as the relationships that we have. I'm a flutist, I'm trying to get an orchestra job, and I'm trying my darndest, but it's not like my family's gonna love me less if I don't get an orchestra job. The people who matter the most to me in my life, they're not sitting around valuing me because my skills at tonguing and fingering a flute are just so impressive that they want to have me around. No, they want to have me around because they love me, because they like who I am. I mean, think about someone who you love, and would you like them any less as a person if you learned that they sucked at calculus and they tried really hard and they got a tutor but they still failed? Like, no. I love them because they're cool, and when they're around I like their personality and they're relatable and we can do fun stuff together and they're funny and like whatever it is. I like to tell people, what are they gonna write on your tombstone? Sorry, really morbid. But they're probably gonna write great mother, great beloved daughter, grandparent, loving father. It's about who you were in relationship to people. It's not about how good you were at stuff. And being good at stuff is really great, especially if it's makes you a productive member of society and it keeps you going and feeling good about yourself and having goals and not being bored, that's fantastic. But it's probably not the reason why your parents brought you into this world so that you could do stuff. It's probably because they wanted to have a family that they loved, and they probably love you and you love them. So you don't need to tear yourself up about worldly things that aren't going your way. So rejection still sucks. But hopefully this video helps in sharing how I like to think about it, the sort of rationalizations and mind games you can play on yourself to make it feel a little bit better, motivate yourself to keep going forward. My dad likes to say that nothing worth having comes easy. I definitely agree with that. I also think that getting rejected is evidence that you're on an adventure and that you're taking risks in your life, and getting rejected is a part of that. But if you're strong enough for that, you learn that you're strong enough for a lot of things. So I shared my story of getting rejected from Allstate at the beginning of this video. And that was a good news story because that was my freshman year of high school. But by junior year, I had made it into Allstate, to the top group available at Allstate. And I'm really proud of that to this day. Even though it was high school, I just knew how upset I was about it when I got rejected freshman year, and I used that fire to get really motivated. I like to keep that faith as evidence that I could do it again if I needed to, especially because my college auditions were less than ideal. I applied to 5 conservatories and I only got into 1, which is all you need. I'm trying to think of it in the same way. I'm on another redemption arc, which is really great because I can be way better at the flute than I was back then. And like I said before, there's new levels of excellence that I could achieve. I have more progress to look forward to. If you are clicking on this video because you got rejected from something, I feel you. It really hurts, but it does pass with time, especially if you take the steps to come back stronger, to learn from it. You'll be okay. So I hope this video helped. Feel free to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.